Curveball, A Knife Threw Me a Curve, written and illustrated by Leo Powell. Dear Diary, June 11th, 2008. Hi, my name is Maya Migliaccio, and I'm 11 years old. My dad plays for the Boston Red Sox as a pitcher. That was all I could think about as I heard the bell ring and the hall erupted with chattering. It was Friday. In a couple of hours I would be riding first class to LA with my mom. My dad had gone earlier to warm up for the game. As I walked down the sidewalk, all I could think about was my dad. What was he thinking about? Was he nervous? What was going on? I turned the corner to see my house with that Boston Red Sox flag waving proudly. I scurried up the steps, tossed my backpack onto the porch swing, and opened the door like one of those action movie stars. But to my great surprise, my mother was already home, crying and clutching my dad's picture tightly. "Your father," she mumbled. "He is dead. His plane crashed." The smile that had once been on my face disappeared, as though all the happiness had been taken from me and been thrown out the window. But before I had a chance to speak, my mother left the room. I ran to my room and threw myself onto the bed. Before I knew it, it was time for dinner. Those hours crying felt like minutes in the past. I never really knew I acted fine even though I wasn't fine. "Honey, it is time for dinner." I walked down the stairs, took the plate from my mother's trembling hands, turned my back, and returned to my room. Dear Diary, July 12th, 2008. I guess I never really accepted my dad's absence until I saw an empty chair at the dinner table. I guess you never appreciate something until it's gone. Today was like a day like any other. Algebra, math, lunch, and science. I walked home listening to the sweet beats of Bryn Elliott. I turned the corner to find boxes of stuff on our lawn. Probably Dad's old stuff, I thought. "Oh, there you are. I need help moving these things. Will you go to the attic and get some boxes?" asked Mom. I nodded and marched through the front door and went up to the attic. Once I was up there, I stumbled upon something. I was able to find the light switch to turn the light on so I could identify the object. It was a leather book that looked like a diary. I questioned myself whether to open it or not. It was a diary. Duh. Then I decided nobody had to know. That's when I looked closer and saw initials engraved in the spine of the book. It looked like J and B. JBM. For a second, I stood there puzzled. But then it hit me. My dad's full name was Justin Brian Migliaccio. Could this hold the secrets of my father's childhood? While flipping through the pages, I saw a streak of golden light that caught my eye. I turned the page and saw a shiny key. The first thing that came to my mind was, where could this key fit? I searched the room and saw it. There was a keyhole in the footlocker. I shuffled over to it and placed the key into the keyhole. It fit. I carefully opened the top and an explosion of light came at me. It lifted me up a little and sent me down with a thud. Before I could see what had happened, my mom screamed, "For heaven's sakes, what's going on up there?" I shut the footlocker and replied, "Nothing, coming." I ran down the stairs and turned the corner to the front door and out onto the lawn. "I think you got everything, Mom," I said through a forced smile. I walked back into the house and went to the attic to investigate. I reopened the top and the same bright light came at me. All of a sudden, I got sucked down into the footlocker, and before I knew what had happened, I was transported into a different world. One like they have in fairy tales. It was warm with bright green grass and flowers. It had little cottages and wagons carrying anything you could think of. Before I had time to gather myself, I was sucked back through the porthole and crashed into the attic with a boom. At that point, my mother was halfway up the stairs by now. "Honey, are you okay?" she asked, waiting for a response. "I'm fine. I tripped over the footlocker," I replied. "We'll got to be more careful next time. It's time for dinner. We are having chicken tikka." "Gross," I murmured under my breath. Then I followed her down the stairs to the dining room, ate dinner, and went to bed, wondering what had happened earlier. Dear Diary, July 13th, 2008. What happened yesterday? I wasn't completely sure. What I was sure of was that magic was playing tricks on me. Today was Saturday. That meant I had the whole day to investigate. As soon as I woke up, I ran to the attic and opened the chest once more. I was once again transported to the other world. It was an alternate universe. Everybody got along with each other. No problem. So I walked over to the one of the friendly-looking elves and asked, "Where am I?" The elf replied, "You are in the kingdom of Zerboni, ruled by the evil overlord, Marussia." As the word Marussia was said, my locket started to shine brightly. Then I remembered something. One of my cousins' names was Marussia. She had the other half of my locket. When I was 10, my dad gave me one half of a locket and gave the other half to Marussia. He thought it would bring us closer together. That didn't happen. We barely knew each other. Then I asked, "What does Marussia look like?" "Oh, well, let us see now. Blonde hair, green eyes, and she always wears a locket around her neck," replied the elf. "Oh, by the way, my name is Kunter." "Well, it is very nice to meet you, Kunter," I said. But all of a sudden, I heard my mom's voice. Then once again, I was sucked back through the porthole and crashed onto the ground. "There you are," she said. "Time for breakfast." "Hey, Mom, remember my cousin, Marussia? Whatever happened to Marussia?" I asked, curious about my previous discovery. "She is 1 day older than you, so her birthday is today. And that's about it. I mean, that's not it about your cousin, but that is all I know." So I sat in my bed wondering, but eventually I went to bed. Dear Diary, July 14th, 2008. Today I am 12 years old. Time to return to the attic and find out Marussia's secret, or if she has one at all. But before all that, I went downstairs to get breakfast. My mom came up to me and said, "Happy birthday! I have a present from your father to you. He told me to tell you to open it in private." She left the room. I carefully unwrapped the paper to find a sword. Then I thought this whole thing must be a quest waiting to be fulfilled. So I went back to the attic, through the porthole and over to Kunter. "Well, hello, my lady," Kunter said. "Hi, Kunter. What's so bad about Marussia?" He thought a little, then replied, "She makes us work for free. She wants to take over the world." "Is there any way to stop her?" I asked. Kunter said, "There are a group of boys out to get her, and they only want the fame. The prophecy says that one will come, one true one, identical to her, but differs in many ways." "Kunter, where could you find Marussia?" I asked, filled with curiosity. "She lives in a palace on the edge of town. I warn you, if you try to go looking for her, danger will come. Marussia is a great and talented fighter," said Kunter. "Thanks," I said, wondering more if you could find a magical fighting skills tutorial on YouTube. About halfway there, I ran into the boys. "Get out of our way. We shall find Marussia first." The boys pulled out their swords, and we began to duel. The sound of swords crashing will forever haunt me. Eventually, I was able to bring them to their knees. Onward, I marched to Marussia's place. You think that maybe somebody's palace might have a little more protection? I just marched right through the doors and looked Marussia straight in the eyes and pulled out my sword. That was a gift from my father. Got into the position that meant business. Marussia grabbed her sword and got ready to fight. The fight was long and silent. She didn't even know who I was. But at last I brought her to her knees. And I know you think I should have killed her, but we had made an agreement that she would be free as long as she did no harm to others. We put our lockets together and agreed to be friends forever. Dear Diary, September 9th, 2019. That happened a long time ago. The magic world came to peace and life happened to be spared. The end.